Hey everybody, Dylan here, and welcome to the Raw review for April 19th, or 29th, 2024. It is night 2 of the draft, and see what happens night 1. We'll have to tune in when I upload SmackDown's review. That sounded so weird, and I apologize. Alright, let's get into it. Car arrives off the bat, and they do like that whole suspense thing, like, oh, who could it be? And then you see that it's a Paul brother, and I immediately said, oh no! He's here with a bunch of, as I called them, internet twerps that I don't know who they are. Or excuse me, an internet twerp. There we go. And Patrick Mahomes, of course, Kansas City royalty. Anyway, after they arrive, what remains of the Judgment Day shows up and daps everybody up. They congratulate each other on their success. I gag. And then Michael Cole from Live Mike and Pat McAfee welcome everybody to the show. They do a rundown of the draft from SmackDown, which I'm going to review again Friday, so to those spoilers. They then show the rules for the draft and the people in the offices for SmackDown and Raw, and of course NXT's office, where it's just a whole roster sitting in a bunch of chairs. Fuck y'all. Then we get Becky Lynch coming out afterwards, and I really hate to say it, but I think I'm souring on her. And I also think I'm going through a bad time in wrestling right now. But one or the other is making me really not like Becky. I don't hate her because I still love her as a character. But something internally is just souring on her with the title right now. I don't know what it is. Anyway, she reminds us that she became the man in this exact arena. And she points at where it was. And she's still saying the exact same thing now that she said then. She hypes up the draft and herself for becoming a world champion again. She said that tonight we need to find a number one contender. And then Liv Morgan comes out and says that she's here to become the number one contender. She's like kind of heelish towards it, but she's doing a good tweener right now. She then says that Becky offers her a title match because she took out Rhea. Like, she better offer her a title match because of that. And my first thought was, oh, okay, so we got like the female version of the Drew storyline going on. Cool. She then talks about it being the Liv Morgan revenge tour, and she won't stop until she has everything that she wanted. Becky said she's right. If it wasn't for Liv, that Becky wouldn't be champion. That's what she said, by the way. But if it wasn't for Becky, Liv would be champion. Ooh, shit, get it. Ooh, shit, get it. After that, Nia Jax comes out. She gets booed out of the arena, like they're really loud with the boos. She talks about how she should be champion, and we know how this one goes. She continues to get heat on the audience and then says that tonight is her last night on Raw, thankfully, and she's taking one of them out with her. She tries to get in the ring and talk more smack, but Liv Morgan kicks her off, drop kicks her off of the apron and says that she accepts this challenge. 3.5 stars. The beginning of this was kind of a slippery slope because it felt like they're just picking targets. But towards the end, they started to make it unique and its own little thing. So pretty cool. Plus, I love everybody involved in this. So automatically 3 stars regardless. Automatically 3.5 stars regardless. At least. I'm not speaking English, but what I'm saying is they would have at least gotten 3.5 stars, if not higher, just because of the participants. Nia was great at getting her heat. If Liv isn't the champion, since she isn't the champion, this is a great way to get her storyline to keep her busy until maybe she goes after Becky or Bayley's title if she gets drafted to SmackDown, which, spoiler alert, she does not. So I want to say off the bat, I don't know if that's the true opening segment to this or not, because for some reason, even though I had it recorded, it only recorded the 1.5 hour long version for me, so I apologize. There's certain matches that won't be reviewed. That's my bad. My bad-oos. So after that, on the footage I saw, we see Jey Uso arriving earlier today. And then Stephanie McMahon is backstage with someone, I guess one of the office people, just chit-chatting, having girl time, talking it out, whatever. And she'll come out for the first draft pick tonight. She does her normal, thank yous, good to be back, blah, blah, blah. And then says that Raw's pick for the first round is Imperium, which now consists of just Gunther and Kaiser. No more Vinci. Then the second round pick for SmackDown, they get Jade Cargill. That's awesome. The fact that she's technically the first pick for them for tonight. That's cool. But again, people are staying on the same show. Boo. The third pick for Raw is Damage Control, which was a good way to shake things up. I like that. It actually validates the draft for once. And then the final pick for SmackDown for Draft 1, or whatever they call this, is Kevin Owens, which that sucked for SmackDown, a reoccurring theme for tonight. But Raw's getting a lot of good changes, so that's awesome. I wrote down, I can't wait to see who SmackDown gets next round sets. Oh boy, was I a fool. Alright, I'm not going to rate the, star rate the drafts, because why would I? After that, they plug a hype package for Kansas City, and then some football people come out. After that, we get round 2 announced by the Paul brother and some guy on speed. I hope he has a quick recovery. Alright, anyways, after he runs his mouth for a little bit, he says Raw's pick, the guy on speed, and that Raw's first pick is CM Punk. And Raw is happy backstage. I'm not happy because this speed mark doesn't know how the fuck to talk into a mic. The whole time he talks, he peaks that audio. It really pisses me off. Anyway, I just hate everybody involved in this segment that's talking. After that, SmackDown gets the Hurt Profits 2.0 officially announced as the Pride. So who knows? Maybe I'll actually call them the Pride like they've been known for a while now, and I'm just doing my bit. So nothing changed. After that, Raw gets Braun Strowman as a surprise pick. After that, the final pick for SmackDown is Tiffany Stratton. Boy howdy, SmackDown is getting screwed over. Not because of the talent, but literally because the show is staying the exact same. After that, the Paul brother and the guy on speed go to the ring. And the Paul brother gets some heat on Jay. Says that him and Priest he says that he hopes Priest will beat him up and blah, blah, blah. I hate hearing him talk, so I muted it. Anyway, Jay interrupts him, and I yeet all over myself. He comes out and stares at the U.S. title. Yeet. Then he asks if Jey Uso can beat Damian Priest. Yeet. If he could become U.S. champion. Yeet. If he could become World Heavyweight champion. Yeet. If he could beat the Paul brother. Yeet. Then the Paul brother tries to overdo him on the whole, yeet, yee, whatever. I don't fucking like you. Shut your bitch mouth up. Alright, anyway. As he's running his mouth, Finn and JD come out and jump him. And he, runs his mouth. Sorry, when I say jump him, they jump Jey Uso. And as that's happening, the Paul brother's running his mouth and then puts on the Super Bowl rings. And, him and, I'm trying to remember, Patrick Mahomes. I don't watch sports. I'm really fake. Him and Patrick Mahomes, daps up for a bit, and then he grabs the rings and uses them as brass knuckles. And Michael Cole gets a real quick jab in at Pat McAfee. He asks him if those are Super Bowl rings, and then immediately says, you won't know. You wouldn't know. Fuck, that was such a sick burn. The Paul brother attempts to use them like brass knuckles. Jay ducks it, and he hits JD in the head instead. There's a moment where they all look on at JD, including Jay, and it's a perfect meme frame. And then Jay just starts laughing at him and says, "Damn, he got knocked on his ass." He says it so quiet, though, that the mic barely picks it up. It makes it better. Finn looks at him. He's like, yeah, he kind of did. And then he's like, no, wait a minute. One of those cartoon moments. And then Jay takes him down. It lasts only until Logan Paul knocks him out with 2 hits from the rings. And then Braun comes out and clears the ring 2017 style, except for the Paul brother. Paul brother gets out of the ring, watches on as Braun does his thing. Braun gets back in the ring and not only chokeslams Finn, but he takes liberties and stalls before dropping him. I don't know how to describe it, but slowly looks at him and stalks him out of the ring as the Paul brother escapes through the crowd. And then he turns his attention to Patrick Mahone and kind of stares him down like he's about to do something until Jay pushes him off of him. They taunt, and then they go up the ramp as replay happens, and we end the segment. 3.5. You know what? I'll change that to 4 stars. It was entertaining. Welcome back, Braun. Raw. Then we go backstage where Kathy Kelly is asking Booker T with the 5 and the Hall of Fame ring right in shot, asking him about the draft, and he adds his insight into everything that's happened on Raw so far. Then Drew's behind him and doesn't like the disrespect that Booker T is giving Drew by saying that Punk should have been ahead of the man who won the world title at Mania. Booker T then reminds him that he no longer has the world title around his waist. Drew tries to make excuses, but then ultimately says he knows how Booker truly feels about Punk. Ooh, internet rumors, ooh. And says Booker T has changed, and that's how he ends the segment. 3.5 stars. Then Big Bronson Reed has a title match against Sami Zayn, where Sami Zayn almost pulled out a win, but Chad Gable ends up jumping Sami, and he gives him an ankle lock, and he puts on the grapevine. I don't know if I talked about my pro wrestling analysis on how I like shit to be done, but God, when you have a technical expert apply a submission, if they don't ever, at least once in their career, put on the grapevine and fucking choke out that leg, holy shit, I'm going to have to talk to him at that point. I'm not going to lie, the grapevine just pops me. Every time I used to see Kurt Angle put on that lock and then add the extra little oomph with that, I'd lose my shit, do the 2017 Kurt Angle, yeah! Alright. Anyway, afterwards, Gable grabs the title and tries to pose with it, but Big Bronson Reed didn't like that shit after frog splashing Sami beforehand. He ends up taking Gable out, and then he poses with the title. 4 stars, that's a great way to show off Bronson Reed while also continuing the whole Gable-Sami feud. I'd love to see Gable as a heel. I hope this means Kurt Angle's coming back somehow. Yeah! When we come back from the ad, I get to pop because this wasn't spoiled for me, but I get to see the Acolyte Protection Agency at their truest come out again. It makes me really happy. JBL announces that Raw gets the deadbeat dad and the rest of the LWO, including Carlito. That's interesting considering what happens on SmackDown. And then Ron Simmons says that SmackDown gets El Gato del Fantasma. What the hell. One last time just for the bid. I meant to say La Familia. Then Raw gets Drew McIntyre way too late in the draft, and that's perfect for the story. And I wrote down, when does SmackDown get a new pick? Well, I get to eat my own words because Shinsuke Nakamura is picked next. And Raw got I wrote down, Raw got 8 picks before SmackDown got one new one. But that may be the one difference. Who knows? Boy, was I a mark-ass hoe or what? So, just in my opinion, it would have made more sense if JBL did SmackDown and Ron Simmons did Raw, because I think, just like a couple other picks later on tonight, I think they are more synonymous with that brand, Ron Simmons being the damn guy, and JBL being the longest reigning SmackDown champion, whatever, the wrestling god crap. Speaking of damn, he does that bit later on. I don't know if I wrote it down or not. I don't think I did. After that segment, I guess, the draft, Drew comes out and complains about being drafted in round 3. He runs down APA for the call, and then he asks them if they're drunk, and the crowd starts chanting CM Punk. He berates them for that and says, "Congratulations, Punk. You hurt Drew McIntyre." He starts running down Punk until CM Punk's music plays. Drew expects him to come out, but he's actually up in a skybox. Drew storms off, and here we go. Ron Simmons gets in his damn as we end the segment. 4 stars, just because I missed the APA. And the segment's actually pretty good, too. We come back from the ad, and Drew is looking for Punk's skybox. He finally finds it, and he opens it up, looks down. There's an autograph from CM Punk with his own picture on it. It makes me pop. And then CM Punk's music plays, and Drew hears that. He starts throwing a fit, and then he comes out to the ring. CM Punk comes out to the ring. No brace added. Punk says he doesn't want to waste their time. He has Pat McAfee time him to see if he could do this promo in less time than Drew's title reign. He sits down in the ring, cross-leg, pipe bomb style, and explains that he's better than Drew, and how he is that... I wrote that wrong. And because of that, that's why he was drafted first in the Raw. What brand are we on, Dylan? on the Raw picks. It was such a great promo, but to give you the highlights of it, the things you need to know is that when he's healthy, he will make Drew's life a living hell. And according to commentary, he did it in practically 2 minutes. 4 stars just because 2 men that I love. Then after that, Teddy Long comes out with a Lunder Blaze, and Punk gives her a friendly kiss on the cheek. Wow. Raw is announced by T-Long, which I do not agree with that, but whatever. What do I know? I'm a mark-ass hoe. Where Judgment Day stays on Raw, and then SmackDown for Lunder Blaze, she announces it. They get Naomi, so nothing changes. And then Raw gets the first NXT call-up, which will be Ilya Dragunov. Hell yeah. I can't wait to see him and Gunther battle. I so hope Dragunov wins the IC title, and then we get the Gunther versus him somehow for that. Fuck. I'm ready. Then SmackDown gets the final pick of Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, which it's cool that they switched brands, but also, that's not like a really huge pick, you know what I mean? I even wrote down. So to recap tonight so far, SmackDown got 2 picks while Raw got several, including a team and an NXT call-up. After that, Liv Morgan comes out for her match against Nia Jax, where Liv ends up winning. During this match, Tiffany Stratton was at ringside, and she tried to interfere, but Naomi came out to get her off, and then she got up on the ropes, and Nia knocks her off. That distracted Nia Jax. I think Liv hit the Oblivion off of that and won the match. After that, they show a Kansas City hype package and announce SummerSlam tickets go on sale next Sunday. They show the Paul Brothers segment, and after that, the Dudleys come out with a table, and that popped me. Even though they didn't do the announcements on the table, hey, that's okay. They hit all the Dudley Boy high points, like, the what up, and Devon, get the table, even though we already had the table, and oh, my brother, testify. I think that's everything. Raw gets a New Day sans Big E. I understand they can't say with Big E because that implies that he's medically cleared, I guess. But also, what does that mean if he comes back? Does he get to pick where he wants to go? I don't know. I just found that really interesting. And then SmackDown gets Pretty Deadly, so that stays the same for both. And Raw gets yet again another call-up, and Lyra Valkyria? They said her name the other night. I can't say her name. I apologize. And I wrote down, she looks shoot surprised. So apparently, as I was doing research for a segment later on tonight, apparently they did not tell any of the NXT call-ups that they were actually going to be called up. So everything that happened was a shoot reaction, apparently. And then SmackDown gets The Way, the female edition of The Way, I should say. Hey, that was a sick rhyme. So, okay. Ooh, bars. Ooh, 3. At least they get 2 teams, but still, no disrespect. 2, mid-card teams. You know what I mean? And when we come back from the ad, Becky congratulates her, Liv Morgan is her, congratulates Liv Morgan and says she has a title shot. And then Damage Control come by and say they'll see her around. During this, I think Kairi Sane ended up pecking on, Becky's title, and she's like, don't touch my title. She got real pissed on that. After that, Pierce and Aldis comes out to end the draft, and Raw gets the final testament as SmackDown gets yet again... I wrote down, there we go. As SmackDown gets yet again neutered. Another name taken off of SmackDown's side. SmackDown gets DIY to kind of recover. And then Raw gets Bronson Reed. And SmackDown gets Blair Davenport from NXT. So, hey, at least there's something finally for SmackDown. Jey Uso comes out, Yeet, for the 6-man tag with him, Ricochet, and Andrade taking on JD, sans Dom, because Dom is injured. And I read my own bit. I wrote down sans Dom with Dom as manager. Such a tongue twister. All right. And due to JD, I think actual JD, not Judgment Day, his confusion, Jey Uso gets a win with a super kick and a splash. I think the last shot you see is Priest coming in, trying to help, but he didn't get a chance to help. That sucks. They run down next week's show, and Damian Priest have a stare down to end the show. 3.5 stars. Overall, this show was a 3.5, but if it had like that one extra thing, it could have lingered onto a 4. Asterisk. Apparently there were some matches that I missed, so I bet you if I saw those matches, this easily would have been a 4-star show. Alrighty, we're going to end it. Nah, I'm just playing with you. We've got a couple segments. It's a long episode, but hey, it's okay. The draft that happened off the air, here's what happened. Creed Brothers and Ivy Nile have been drafted to Raw, so they stay the same. Giovanni Vinci has been drafted to SmackDown. I guess he's going to get a new character. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne have been drafted to Raw, so New Catch Republic for Raw. Rest in peace, SmackDown. Tegan Nox has been drafted to SmackDown. That's cool. I hope she gets like some singles thing, or maybe her and Candice team up, and then, I don't know, somehow Dakota comes back over there, and we get a Team Kick reunion. Yeah! Anyway, Dijak has been drafted to Raw, which was pretty dope. Apollo Crews has been drafted to Raw. Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, what are they, like the Party Girls or something like that? They've been drafted to Raw. Natalia's been drafted to Raw. And Odyssey Jones, who apparently has been on Raw for over a year, he was drafted to Raw. There's also some Nightbird teases. Ooh, here we go. I'm really excited for the Nightbird. Not as excited as I was for the White Rabbit, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm still very excited. There's a glitch apparently between Gunter and Xavier Woods, which pinpoint I'm gonna say Gunter won after using a modified STF into a Regal stretch, and it looked like a great match. 4 stars. That I'm sad that I missed it. Anyways, the glitch is from a driving car clip they used from the previous week in Nightbird Tease. And there was also audio glitches throughout the show, which might have just been technical difficulties, but that's something. There was a glitch that revealed a bird, the word stop, and a QR code during the Dudley Boys entrance, which if you click on it, sends you to a cryptic video of a house that has a lantern hanging on it, kind of symbolizing like Bray's old lantern, and maybe that was the Wyatt compound. And then it shows off a bunch of like old Wyatt imagery, and when it says swamp in the song, it cuts to a blue screen that says the door is open. Do you want to meet him? The word drown flashes a bunch of times, and then it says drown in his glory, and then glory is like highlighted and like flickers in and out type of deal, and then it stops. And during this you can see a blurred figure during like the flashing imagery, and a woman included, maybe symbolizing like Sister Abigail. The URL, like if you break down the code for it, apparently has the word ELEFTHERI with like a mark above it, A on it, and a quick Google Translate defines it as free, a girl's name of Greek origin. Somebody found the source code also. Speaking of source codes, they found a phrase from Latin that describes, if you translate it, it says, every end is from the beginning, end quote. Also included were a lot of imagery dealing with birds, maybe symbolizing like follow the buzzard, but there was also like a lot of graphic imagery just thrown in there. They also played the Nightbird song Tonight during ads, and apparently it had more, like, I'm just going to call them theatrics, I don't know how else to describe it, but like glitches and stuff like that in them, you know what I mean? So I'm excited to see where this goes. Ooh-wee, I'm sorry to say it like that sounds creepy, but God, I said I wasn't as excited as the White Rabbit, but I totally just lied to you. I am almost equally as excited. I have fallen down the rabbit hole. Alright, hi, ignore if the beginning said anything. This is Tuesday, so I'll upload a Backlash review eventually. Last night's Raw will come, and we'll go from there, you know? So thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!